Hello everyone, it's today's 13th of February 2019 and I'm going to take you through the market overview for today. So we'll move straight to the chart. You want to see if there are any good trades that you can trade maybe today, and to see if the trades we have all been forecasting previously, how they've been going. So we start off with Euro USD here, and just as we mentioned previously, the price has pulled back within our zone. We mentioned that this is a clear zone. This is just a resistance, a support. Yesterday while we were forecasting the prices below somewhere around here, then we mentioned that should the current week's candle fail to close below this level here, then this should be a buy up to 1.1469. So that happened. The price did not close below. So far this is the weekly chart, which means the week has not closed yet, so we have to wait until Friday to know whether it's going to close above or it's going to close below. But as it is now, you should expect a move like this. Price should go up, bounce from the upper level, pull back down, then bounce from the lower one, like that, like that. So this is like a range where we expect price to trend within. We want price to remain within this range for some time before eventually it breaks either above or below clearly. So what we want to happen now is either the price should continue up to this resistance, or it should bounce, should break below, then retrace back before we pick a sell from the same place up to the lower side. So I'm going to add an indicator to confirm that this trend is downwards. And another thing, the reason I'm looking at this from the selling point of view is because of this. Look at this chart from the monthly. This is the monthly chart. I have a trend line here, and as you can see, we had this as a good resistance, then price went down, came back up. This is a lower high, it went down, came back up, then we see another lower high, then it went down, came back, then another lower high, it went down. So this is a very good level here, which if price can retrace back up to, then this is going to be the correct place to sell from. We have that level there, just a support, a support, a support. There's a break below, price should come back to it, something like this is what you expect. In the long run, this is likely what may happen. The price, instead of going down, could pull back up, but we don't expect it to go above this trend line. As long as the price remains below this trend line, we are still looking for a sell. So whatever we are saying that we are supposed to sell on the weekly is actually a weekly level. This is still a weekly level, but the correct place to sell from is on the monthly, this trend line. So we want price to proceed up, either bounce from that place or break above, retrace back, and should proceed up to this trend line, where if you sell it there, you should expect it to go up to 1.0493 here. So on the longest, if we check this from the longest time frame, then this should be a sell. We want price to at least retrace back up before it embarks on a move to the lower side. We move to the next chart, which is GBP USD. GBP USD is also pulling back up. This is what we had yesterday. Previously we had our level here, and you can remember we mentioned that this was just a resistance, down a resistance, then a break above, a support, a support, a support. There was a false break, a support, a good buy place. This is a good buy place, and we want price to come back up to that level. We want price to come back up to that level so that we can pick a buy from that point to the upper side. So assuming you look at this chart from the weekly point of view, then you should be waiting for a sell from this point. Wait for a sell from around 1.2698, which is here. Expect a move down, then a bounce before you pick a buy towards 1.4011. So the place where I'm looking forward to taking profits, which is here, this was a very good monthly level. So if you want to trade it correctly, then pick a buy and expect price to go up to it. Then you're supposed to sell from this point on the monthly chart. We move to the next chart. Sorry, I want to look at this chart from the 4 chart to see if there's any good setup. GBP/USD 4s. I'm going to remove all these lines on this. They are crowding this chart. Delete. On the 4 chart, I have a level here. This is just a support. And then I also want to mark, sorry, let me mark this. That's a very good support. And we also have one there. So if I minimize this like that, it doesn't look clear, but this is a very good level where if price can come back to it, then this is going to be the best place to buy from. Let me just mark it like this. You see we have a resistance, a resistance, a resistance, then price went above it, down. This was a false break. We want price to at least come back to it so that we can pick a buy from that point. So the reason I'm buying is this, because this was a sell place, this was another sell place, then this was another sell place, then we saw a break above it, then there was a false break, and price is here to come back to it. So in case the price comes back to this zone, then this is going to be a very good place to look for a buy. Wait for a buy from that point, and because monthly is also a buy, expect it to bounce from that point to the upper side. On the daily chart, we have our level there. The same place is still holding. You can see that even in the past, the same place was holding. So we want price to get back to this level here so that we can pick a buy, and with that buy, expect it to go up to that point and may break even higher. So at the moment, expect a move down, a bounce from that point. We should proceed up from that, from 1.2802, which is here. We move to the next chart, USD/JPY. So far, this is what we expected. I hope you remember by the beginning of this month, we mentioned that we actually took a buy from this point, and we said that we want price to proceed up and go beyond 110.51, retrace back, so that we can pick a buy from that point to the very top, which is 114.32. So assuming you bought it, as we mentioned, you're supposed to already remain in that. Don't exit at the moment. Don't get out. Instead, expect price to proceed up, then retrace back. You can buy it for the second time, and with that buy, have your take profit here. No, sorry, have your first take profit there. And then the next one should be at the very top, which is 114.32. So on this chart, we're only looking at 3 levels. We have 110.51, and then you also have 112.32, and then you have the last one, which is 114.32. So this should make some sense that if you bought it here, then you're probably waiting to buy it again the second time. Then wait and buy it also here. A retracement. Then you pick a buy up to the very top. So these are the places we bought here, and we are waiting to buy here, also waiting to buy at the very top. So you traded this pair from here, just expect it to go up to 114.32, which is at the very top. So I'm not going to add much on this, and I don't recommend looking for a sell on this pair. I don't recommend looking for a sell unless the price is below this level. Let me mark it properly. Something like this, assuming something like that. So we are only going to look for a sell in case the price breaks below 108.55. It should retrace back up so that we pick a sell up to the very lower end, which is here. So this is on the lower side, this is what I'm looking at. On the upper side, I'm looking at this levels 1, which is 110.51, 112.32, and then the last one should be 114.32. So these are the levels. These are the levels to trade from. Either you buy here, you buy there or you buy at the very top. And if you want to sell it, then only sell a break below 108.55. That means you wait for price to proceed down, retrace back up, you pick a sell, and with that sell you should have your take profit here at 104.65. So I want to look at this chart from the less time frame, maybe from the 4 chart. This is what we expect. This like a wedge forming. We see there's a wedge, a resistance, a resistance, a resistance. We basically want price to clearly break above it, retrace back, so that we can pick a buy from that point up to 113.96. So if you are on the 4-hour chart, then you should be looking forward to a break above this trend line, then a retracement, so that you pick a buy towards 113.96. So I hope that should make some sense. That should make some sense that we are actually waiting for a buy from this point. We want price to proceed clearly, retrace back, so that you can buy towards 113.96. So we move to the next chart, which is SP500, and I'm going to load that chart afresh. We are going to use indicators today to see if there's a clear direction. So there's one thing which I need to mention, that if you are trading SP500, assuming you want to trade SP500, then you see a buy, probably you're seeing a buy, just ensure that the same buy is appearing on NQ100 Nasdaq. So these two, they move together. There are tons of others which also move the same direction, but these two are a bit clearer. You'll find that anytime there's a buy here, there's a similar buy there. So confirm that all these are the same. Ensure there's a buy here before you buy this one, and ensure there's a buy here before you buy this one. So we want to load it. That's just by the way, so you don't forget. This is what we mentioned on Monday. If I don't know if you can remember, we said this was there's a pin bar here. This is still there. Then we mentioned this was Friday's candle. Don't forget that this was Friday's candle. I'm going to add an indicator to confirm that the trend is upwards first. MACD is okay. We have the columns of MACD being above 00. So what I mean by the column of MACD are this bars you're seeing, a bar, a bar, a bar. What this means is that the trend is upwards. You're supposed to look for a buy. We have a bar, we have a bar, we have a bar. All these are called, I may refer to them as columns sometimes. So either way, whether I mention a bar or a column, they mean the same thing. So as you can see from this point here, when the columns move from the lower side to the upper side, the trend has been upwards, which means if you're on this chart, expect price to be moving even higher. Then I'll add another indicator, which is that average directional movement index here. Also this, we are upwards, as you can see. So if you want to trade this correctly, since the two indicators are upwards, we have the main sorry, we have the main one being above 25, and then you also have the dotted green one being above the green the red one. So what this means is that the trend is upwards, and therefore everything you're looking for on this chart has to be upwards. So after this pin bar here, you can remember we recommended a buy. We said that you're supposed to look for a buy. We drew a level there. Then we also had a line at the very top. Then we mentioned that this was just a resistance, then there's a resistance. Then we said that from that point onwards, the price is supposed to proceed up, retrace back to that level, so that you can pick a buy to the very top, which is there. So either way, if you didn't buy it here, you may also want to wait and buy it there, because we actually took a buy from long-term traders, took a buy from this point. I hope you can still remember this is what we mentioned, that we said that this zone here, the break which was seen, this break here, was actually a false break, and therefore you ought to have bought immediately at this point. So if you didn't buy it there, you still had a chance to buy it this week, which we did buy there. We're also waiting to buy when price goes above 2816.5 towards 2935.3. So these are the three levels we want to trade from, either this, or if price pulls back down to this zone here. So we move to the next chart, which is gold. Gold is there. Gold is still going perfectly, as we mentioned previously. You can see after the inside pin bar we saw previously, this one, after this inside pin bar, the price trade coming down but could not close below, and we are now heading upward. So we recommend, this is still a buy. Expect price to proceed even higher towards this zone here before we can look for a sell. Just look at it like this. Let me minimize it like that. From this point here, sorry, I'm going to delete that, they're crowding the chart. From this point, support, then there was like a false break up, the price came back down, a resistance, it went down, a resistance, then it went down, a resistance, down, a resistance, so there is, from this was when this was 2013 until now, the price has not been able to close above this zone. So we expect price basically to come back to it so that we can look for a sell to the lower side, and should price close above it, then we'll need a confirmation that we are continuing upwards. As it is at the moment, we still expect price to move up to this zone here where we look for a sell to the lower side. So we check lesser time frame, maybe daily, to see if there's any good trade from the same chart. Just a second, let me load daily. Gold, it is here. So on the daily chart, I actually have a level here. This is just a resistance. We have a support which was broken, price came back up, then this has zone. So just a resistance, price went down, then came and broke above the same place, support. So we basically want price to clearly come back to this place here so that we can pick a buy from that point to the upper side, and that buy should go up to this place. So as we've seen from the weekly chart, this is actually a weekly resistance, and therefore should be the correct place to sell from. We want to pick a buy from that point, expect price to move up to 1354.67, and we'll look for a sell from that point to the lower side. As it is at the moment, we are not recommending any sell. As it is now, we don't recommend looking for a sell. Look for a buy from that point and expect price to go up to the very top, 1354.67. So we move to the last symbol, which is Brent oil. So on Brent oil, I want to minimize that. As you can see, there's a level here. This was just a retracement. Price went from this point, from the lowest point, price went up, it retraced, it 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 went up, then there was a break below. Now the price has pulled back, but it's below this level here, so below 64. This point here, this is a clear level, and as long as the price does not close above it, we're looking forward to a sell. We want to sell it from that point and expect price to go up to this level, up to 49.10. So we'll add an indicator first to confirm that the trend is downwards. So far there's an active trend, but there is no clear direction. We don't know that the price is going up or down even on the monthly chart. So we recommend you remain flat on this one. If there's no clear direction from the monthly point of view, it is better to remain flat. So just look at it like this. The main one above 25, But this one here, where we know where we are supposed to gauge direction of the upward or downwards, is not giving us a clear direction. So which means we are supposed to be flat. There is no clear direction. So Brent oil, we suggest to remain flat. Then SP500, we are still buying. We want price to proceed even higher, should go above this level and head even higher towards 2928.7. Then gold, we are still upwards. We want price to pull back towards that level before it heads up. Then USDJPY, we want price to break above this trend line, retrace back so that we can pick a buy towards 113.96. Then GBPUSD, we want price to go up to this weekly level so that we can pick a buy upwards. EURUSD, if by the end of this week the price closes below 1.1293, then that's a sell. But if it closes above, then we want it to proceed upwards towards this place here. So that should bring us to the end of today's overview, and I want to mention something here before we leave. I want to mention that there's a bonus which is being given currently by FreshForex. So this bonus mentions that you need to deposit at least 500 USD into your account, then apply for the 200% bonus. So I have no special link for this one. All you need to do is to go to the main site, main FreshForex website, and then there's the menu option written bonuses. Click there and then you start from that point. You'll be able to get a link and then read all the terms and conditions, understand them very well before you eventually apply for the bonus. So that should bring us to the end of today's overview. We've looked at just all the pairs we wanted to look at. See you again in the afternoon at the same time. Thank you very much. In the afternoon, like we're going to meet at the time written, if you can look at this, at around 12 noon GMT.